Hello, this is Snipeye. I'm back. It's been a while since I put out a video. I think I could probably put that at the beginning of every single video I've ever made, but it's applicable nonetheless. This is what I've been working on for the past little while. That too, but that didn't work. So this. I'm going to explain it in a second, but first let me point out a few points. This is a reservoir of villagers. There are like 100 in there. I have one like this in my actual world, and it works quite well. There's a whole bunch of track. This right here is, if you put a villager through it, just barely enough to kill them. So then an empty cart will come out, pick up a new villager. So you might guess what this does. There's a whole bunch of underground wiring here, and that was a pain. It's fairly simple, but it was a pain to figure out. So with the upcoming release of 1.3, I'm getting excited about trading with villagers, emeralds and stuff. So I wanted to work out a easy way to trade with them. I don't know if you can trade with them when they're in a minecart, but I really hope so, and think so, because that would make sense. Anyway, so each one will have like a little window kind of thing built up here. It's like, oh, hello, Mr. Villager. Let me trade with you. Yep. And then if I decide, well, you know what? This villager just has the worst stuff to trade ever. I don't ever want to trade any of that. I press the button, and it breaks. Well, that was, less. Oh, well, that works, I think. No, that doesn't really work. It's definitely broken there. Ooh, I'll have to work that out, actually. Well, if I did it with this one will work. So you can see he goes away into that chamber there. And when he comes out, he dies. Cart picks up a new villager, loads it, gets ready. So, it's actually interesting. I'm wondering how I'm going to fix that. Let's see, so here's the global reset. I wonder. It'll take like another RSNOR latch and a couple things, I think, but I should be able to fix that. Anyway, stop raining. Yeah, I use mods when I'm testing. Makes it way easier for me. I also have single player commands on. So, you can see the basic principle. I mean, I don't want him, press the button, he goes away, and I get a new one. And it's not very fast, because it has to take all the time to kill this, and then come up with a new one, and put it in position, and now I can press another button. See, now this one should work. Yeah, there we go. So, not super fast, but fast enough for me that I'm happy with it. I plan on installing one of these, or something similar, since that's a pretty big footprint. I can probably do it smaller. In my basement somewhere, and just have a nice little room where I can easily trade with villagers. So, I'm going to do my best to explain this to you. If you don't know redstone circuitry very well, it might be a little bit hard to follow. I'll go over the simple parts first. So you press the button, there's a power rail underneath there. So they go flying off, hit the first detector rail, then the second, and then go into this, get killed, and get loaded ready. Okay? So the first detector rail powers this. This here is connected to a whole bunch of wires that will do two things. First, it runs a quick reset on there are 4 RS NOR latches in here. It resets all 4 of them so that they are all in this default position. Okay. An RS NOR latch, basically, you give it a signal and it holds that signal until you reset it. Okay. So the second detector rail I run over right there is right directly above the RS NOR latch, so it will set the RS NOR latch. So basically we reset all the RS NOR latches and then set the one we want. Okay, once that one is set, then it controls these rails up here. So if this RS NOR latch down there is set, this one will turn right. Then the first one also sends a signal that's very delayed out over to here, which powers this rail he's on. So then he goes out. Now when he comes to the rail, it's turned because the RS NOR latch is set. Here, I'll show you. Okay, so then it turns. Then he comes right in. How did that go back? That shouldn't be happening, but I'm okay with it. But really it shouldn't be happening and doesn't make any sense. I am legitimately confused a little bit there. Okay, I see that one. Nope, that one went back too. Okay, so hypothetically, I don't need to change anything. I don't know what happened, but I'm totally okay with that. I would like to figure out why that's turning back. That is really weird. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to do... I mean, you can probably get most of it just from the wiring I've shown you guys here. But I'm going to definitely be building this in my single-player world. I may or may not show you that because it's kind of a long process that those of you who don't enjoy redstone would find very boring. But come 1.3, this will be a very useful tool. So, let's go to something that everybody wants to watch instead of just this gigantic build. I figured I should show you the essence of this project before I did it in my single player world because you don't want it just showing up in my world without any explanation of how it got there. So this is this, and it's awesome. Yep. I might also add like a detector rail here, hooked to another RS NOR latch or something, so that when there's one who comes down and goes here, the torch turns on, so I know I can press another button, and then once I press a button, the torch goes off until that gets reset. So that'd be pretty simple, actually. But right now, no plans other than that, beside putting it in my world. So that's awesome stuff there. And I feel like I've droned on way too long about this, so let's go do something else. I've been working on it some more, and I actually came up with a much better design. So let's see, we had... I think this is the one I was showing you guys before, which works, I guess. Nothing elegant. Yeah, I'll have to press the button again once that gets ready to go. I don't know, maybe I was showing you guys one of the other ones. Yeah. So, you know, assuming there was one there already, then... yeah, it doesn't even work. Awesome. Go on. He'll end up there, right? Anyway. So I tried stacking them up vertically so that I could have a bigger reservoir of them, so I didn't have to wait so long in between pressing the button and waiting before I could press a different button. And Seth Bling recently had a video about this kind of minecart station. It's all power rails. Here, I'm just trying to... Okay, but they look like this. And then you kind of have it bordered up. So as the minecart, they're all powered, of course. So as the minecart hits it, goes. And this one is unpowered until you power it, and then the minecart fires off. Well, I like that design, but unfortunately it wasn't working perfectly for me, because what would happen is the last minecart would be on this rail with a villager in it, and the other villagers would kind of push it until it just fired, and then bad things happened because it wasn't set up. You know, I didn't press a button, but the villager was going around. So I worked out a solution. A 2-tick pulse sent to a piston, sticky piston, is just enough to let one villager fall down. So now I have a big reservoir of villagers that I can draw from, and an empty minecart for whatever reason. And I've also changed up how it calls them a little bit. Before, I showed you over here, it's based on these detector rails and RS NOR latches and all that down here. Well, there's a much simpler way to do it. Over here, what I have set up underneath every single one of these detector rails is a T flip-flop. So when the minecart passes it, T flip-flop toggles. Now this rail is turned that way, so once he comes in, right there, hits that again, toggles back. So built-in resetting, all that. The buttons are only hooked to power the minecart track that's underneath here, so that guy gets fired off, and then also all the buttons come together and follow a little trail to send a 2-pulse tick to this piston. 2-tick pulse, not 2-pulse tick. There we go. So then that lets one through, comes up, and goes into the right spot. The other advantage of doing it this way is I can actually send out 2 at a time. And look, there are 2 fresh ones right there. And then I can do it like as fast as I want. Well, not as fast. You know, I have to be a little bit careful because it can screw up the system a bit. See, like, I don't know what's happening with this now. I don't think he knows what's happening either, personally. Stop. Die. Bad. Yeah. So let's see, I am now missing 4. What happens sometimes is I'll press a button to send one out, and it'll bump against another one I sent out. Oh, that's not what I wanted. It'll bump against another one I let out, and then they'll all just kind of spasm. Or it could be that there's an item down there. Yeah, I'll bet that's it, actually. Or a skeleton just stopping them. Or a zombie. Don't you even. Goodness, I won't have this problem in my house because my house will be all enclosed. See, I'll bet there's an item on the track down here or something. Yep. You can go away. Need to pick that up. And I'll need to 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, a little bit of debugging to do when it's out in the open like this. But once I enclose it up in my house with very few external things causing problems, stop it. Then hopefully I won't run into these problems. Because out here the zombies are all like, ooh, go get the villagers. But once it's in a house and all enclosed and nobody can get to the villagers, that problem should go away. See? So I'm thinking this is about the setup I'm going to have for my house. Hopefully I'll be able to condense it a bit so it doesn't do all of this, because that's pretty big. But, oh, I can fit one more. No, no minecarts on the track. So yeah, I plan on condensing it a little bit. These tracks are diagonal because you move faster. You can move both 8 meters a second this way, north-south, and 8 meters a second east-west when you are on a diagonal trail. So stop it, bad zombie. So yeah, that makes it a little bit faster. Before I just had power trails going like this, and it was just a little bit more slow. And especially when you're calling a new one for this guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 seconds. Before I incorporated these tracks, it was a little bit longer, maybe 7 or 8. So just shaving a couple seconds down there. But you can see how it all works. I'll show you guys the T flip-flops. They're a pretty compact version. Okay, so the detector rail powers this, which will unpower this torch. These T flip-flops, here's the entire thing. There's a torch down here, and then the output is on the other side and goes to unpower or power that torch. So, bad zombie. Goodness. Why don't I just do this? Alright. So in a cart, well, this is a perfect example, hits that, you can see that this is pushed over, so now the torch is not, the block is not above the torch. Yeah, now it is. What in the world? So many Endermen. Okay. So now the block you see here, yep, that screwed that up nice. Anyway, when that block is right where this piston arm is, then power can get to that wire, but when it's pushed over and the T flip-flop is toggled that way, then power cannot get to that wire. So let's see if I can replace this here. Beautiful. Okay. So that's the T flip-flop design, and that's just 2 on every side. Works out quite nicely for a nice 6x6 square room. 5x5. Yeah. 5x5 square room. So pretty compact actually. The wiring in and of itself right there that's the important part. Everything else can be rearranged. This can too, but this is the best design I've found thus far. So everything else can be rearranged without pretty much any difficulty. And now I can actually put it in my house, because a lot of this episode today has just been creative mode, which is not nearly as interesting. Also, I apologize for being super distracted this episode, because I know I haven't had very good commentary, and I've been kind of going off on tangents. I'm a little tired. So, yep, there's my lame excuse of the day. 2 more interesting stuff. Okay, I know I said I was going to do something interesting, but my actual world is tied up right now. I'm leveling to get enchantments and stuff, because after the 1.3 is released, the 1.3 update, power 5 on bows and efficiency 5 on tools, and I think maybe sharpness 5 on swords, they go away. They'll become impossible. So I'm trying to hoard as many of those as I can before the update. I've only got a few days, so I've just been straight up enchanting for quite a while now. And, you know, knowing my luck, I have not been having much success there. Anyway, I figured I'd use the rest of the episode to show you guys how to build this. So I've modified it a little bit from even the design you saw right over there. I'm trying to make it as compact as possible. So this version does work. You can see right here. Press it. Now there's currently a bug in 1.2.5 where if you change the time around, then sometimes redstone torches get burnt out and permanently, and you can't fix it and stuff like that. So I actually have another mod running. Basically, at least in my creative world, redstone torches can't burn out at all. I mean, it just won't die, ever. Anyway, so ran into a little bug last time I tried to record this segment because that happened. So let's show you guys how it's done. First things first, we're going to make a little we're going to dig out the 5x5 area, but not entirely, you'll see. Okay. So what I've done here, this is a rough layout for the 5x5 area. The first one will go here. And then there's redstone that runs underneath all of the buttons. Get a couple torches in here to prevent mob spawning. So now, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the buttons will go here, 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 and here. You can expand it to have more than 6 slots for the villagers to be in. I just found that 6 works quite well for me for the designs I've been working up with, and that should be, you know, enough villagers to be trading with at one time. So this is the rough layout, and you can see there's a repeater there, and we will be using that. So now let's get some powered rails in here. Yeah. Okay. So what each button will do is it'll turn on the powered rail right next to it, and it'll activate that thing. You saw me lay out. Now, after each power rail, you need a normal rail that will distance it. That's not what I wanted. We'll distance it from a detector rail. The reason we're doing this is because if we didn't, goodness, can't play stuff right today. If we didn't, then when the cart comes back in from, you know, a new villager comes in, it would turn, hit the detector rail, and then hit the power rail, but the detector rail would power it if it were right here, and then it would stay powered for long enough that the villager just kind of bounces off and goes away and screws up the whole system. So you need that gap there. After this, I'm going to do another powered rail, and you need some sort of rail here. It can be just a normal rail or a powered rail, but we need to distance it from this rail here that we're putting down now. And I'll explain that in a second, because these rails are all turned. There we go. So if we put that right up next to that, then hitting the detector rail will adjust which way it's turned and stuff. So again, we don't want to run into problems with that. So I'm spacing it with a powered rail just because, there we go, because you know, anything to increase the speed of the minecarts, help it run a little bit faster, etc. So this is the very rough layout of how it all goes. Now, I'm going to place that and do that. There we go. This is, I should have made that kind. Okay. So this is where they come in on. So the new villagers will all ride in from this rail here. Here we go. And we'll work on that some more in a second. Alright, so let's work on a T flip-flop here. So I've dug out a pit. The T flip-flops I use are very compact. You've probably seen the design before, but if you run it inverted, it works faster. It's a tip Ethos showed. So I've cleared out a little pit here. So right beneath the detector rail, we've got a sandstone block with redstone on it, and a torch on top of that. Now above that, we're going to have 2 of these, and then pistons there and there. On this one, we're going to do a torch there, mirroring it on the other side because we're going to build 2 at once here. block above it. Okay. Now the redstone goes down there. Torch on either end. Now there's our T flip-flop. So whenever a minecart crosses this detector rail here, we'll toggle the T flip-flop and toggle the output. So the output will connect to these tracks here. So that's going to be there and there. Okay, we're going to dig in 3 from there, get rid of these 2 blocks, put a repeater at 4 ticks, go down for 3 blocks, and then down 3 more. There's our output all linked up. Now we want to be careful not to place a block here because that'll cut off the redstone. So I just put torches at each of these. And then fill in everything else with any block. Okay. Same thing on this side. Dig in 3, repeater at 4 ticks. The reason the repeater's at 4 ticks is because we want a slight delay after the minecart hits that detector rail so that it has time to go off the rail and go in the right direction before the rail flips to accept another minecart. Okay, so that's one entire set. We can't put a solid block here or else this redstone will become a clock with itself. So I just put another torch here. You could probably put like a half slab or something. Same thing applies to all these spaces I'm putting torches. Now everything else I'm just going to fill in with sandstone. Okay, so there. Can't go there. Okay, so we're almost done with this set. Alright, I believe that's it. There we go. So now, whenever we get a minecart coming through here, hits it, toggles the output, and it's ready to go. Let's get that back in place. So, let's put that back to where it needs to be. And I'm going to repeat that for each of these 3, and then I'll be right back. Alright, that step is now done for each of the 3 sections here. Now the torches, the default powered state for this orientation, go away, of rail is going to be to turn this way. So you just have to toggle the T flip-flops once to get them to face the way we want them to. And now everything is ready to go again. So the next step, we're going to hook up this to the output, well, this to the killing chamber for the villagers. So let's count. I've made it as compact as I can here, and a zombie has gotten in there and killed all the villagers. This might help. Okay. So I keep the rails all spaced apart a little bit, and that is to help with minecarts not bumping against each other on opposite trails, you know, going opposite directions, because I have had that happen, and it screws up the whole system. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, then we do this weird loopy thing. So that's 1 right there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then some weird loopy thing, yep. There we go. Yeah, hard to see from here. I think it goes in one more. Yep. Okay. Alright. Comes out, does this. Does this a whole bunch. Let's see how many times. once, twice, then we'll go way over this way. Alright, I'm just going to do it with these and then lay it out the right way here. So, how far does it come over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, bends in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then that, as I recall, turns up like that. And then goes back. Yep. So there's one of these here, and then we'll go back. I'm pretty sure it gets just 3 away from that. So yeah, this is probably the most confusing part of the layout. I was just trying to make it as compact as I possibly could. Alright, so it's 4 and then 1 in. Okay. So at this point, we should have 3 power rails here. This third one is going to have a torch underneath it. Okay, and this is where all the villagers get held. The reason I'm doing it too thick is because villagers can glitch, well, any mob can glitch through walls and stuff like that when you reload a world. And so having it too thick is what I've found prevents it. Okay. Get some glass in here, that won't suffocate them. Now that needs to turn the other way. Okay, so we'll just keep that powered from the underneath. And this will go over to something here. We'll get to that in a second. First, we're going to power all these rails. This is not the most efficient way to do it, but it works. Okay, this should be powered. There we go. Awesome. That can do that. And we'll put this in here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. For that. There we go. So we'll load that up with villagers in a second. First, we're going to build the reservoir that we draw them from. So this comes out 1 more, turns, and then we immediately start the reservoir. 1 out more, turns, right there. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, how this is done... Oh, stop that. It's like this. Seth Bulling was the one who figured this out. Check out his channel if you haven't already, because it's super awesome. Okay. Do we come right out to that level? I think, yeah, right about there. Let's see. That should be what we need to do. Stop doing that. Oh crap, I think I've screwed it all up now. Yep. Kind of a pain to work with sometimes. Power tracks trying to align themselves correctly rarely do it right. Alright, let's do this all over. Goodness, why is this so difficult? This should not be so difficult. Okay. Make it noon again. This is a really messy tutorial, guys. Sorry. I'm by no means an expert at stuff like this. Align correctly. Don't do that. That's not what I want you to do. Alright, you know, there's got to be... Dang a hole. No. I have it over here like this. I don't know how I did that. Yep, doesn't make any sense. Maybe if I try starting the pattern a little bit earlier. No, that's not what I wanted. No, go back, all of you. Okay. Let's see if this'll work. Yes. Yes. Very good. Okay. There we go. I think I got that figured out now. That should be more than far enough. Yep. So the last one needs to shoot out to there. Okay. Don't screw stuff up. Okay, thank goodness. Now, I'm gonna put one there, 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 there. These, when we put a block on top of them, will power the rails. As you can see there. There, 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 and there. Okay. Go down. Now we put blocks around all the rails so that the villagers end up getting moved in the right direction. There. Now right here, we're gonna put a sticky piston. Okay. And that'll be by default on. I think we'll do that with one of these. And we'll mark that. Okay. So we'll finish that up in a second. Uh-oh, is that not far enough? Is that too far, perhaps? No, it's same place I have it there. Okay, I must have done something a little bit differently. I don't know what. Well, we'll figure it out later. Because that's supposed to connect directly over to here. But it doesn't line up the same. Which is weird. Because really that should line up the same. Anyway. We're gonna now put in the tracks in between here. So I go 1, 2, 3. Get rid of that one. Yeah, well, I'll just carry this design over all the way so you can see how it would connect. But then I change it a little bit and add in a couple powered rails here. And a torch there. Okay, and then this guy should be powered as well. Toggle that back to how it's supposed to be. Okay. Now I do the same thing with this one. Okay. And starting with that one. There we go. There we go. So now that part is all finished. Now we're gonna hook this. They should fall 3 down. And then land on a powered track. question why this is so weird and not lining up. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to put these guards in place so that they don't fall out any other way. And now we get to do the 2-tick pulse. So, that's the output of all the buttons right there. Time to dig in. And we're going to carry that over this direction. And we have to go, I think, 4 out to avoid all the wiring. Yeah, you can see there's still a little bit of wiring right here. So you have to go 4 out to avoid all of that wiring. Then I'm going to do a little chamber right around here. And this is where we're going to put our 2-tick pulse generator. So it's a modified monostable circuit. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That'll be fine. Not very modified. It's quite close to the original. So I really can't claim credit for this design. Oh, we do need to lower it by 1 though. But a monostable circuit takes a pulse of any length and will shorten it to exactly 1 tick. Now this circuit does almost that exact same thing, but instead it'll shorten it to 2 ticks. So that on a monostable circuit is set to 3. On our circuit it'll be set to 4, and that'll provide a 2-tick pulse instead of just a 1-tick pulse. Okay, so this is our output right here. It's going to go out that way. We cannot put a block above it or else it'll make a clock with itself. We can put a block above this one. Okay, and we don't want to put a block there or else it'll close off the wiring. Okay. Fill everything in now. Oh yeah, and we don't want to put a block there either or else that will also close off the wiring. Okay, so let's box this all up. And we'll take our output from here. We're going to go down 1 and over 1. That's where it's coming out. Can I kill that? No. Okay, then we're going to start going upward a little bit. Okay, that one right there has the torch on it. I think that should be all we need to do now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, so it's not too long. So it will, the pulse, the redstone signal will reach all the way. Okay, don't cut off the circuit there. And finish covering everything up. There. Now all you need to do is load it up with minecarts. Well, first villagers. So let's get like 100 in there. Probably will not. It'll take a long time to go through 100 villagers, but you know, better safe than sorry, right? The other way you could do this is, rather than killing them and picking up a new one, is line up some sort of storage so that it just kind of rotates through them. But I have enough villagers in my survival world that I can afford to just kill them and pick up a new one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, because this one counts as 1, 2. We do want to have a block there. And we're going to overlay from here on with sandstone. Okay, let's do this the fast way. Okay. Now we can do it from here over to here. There we go, and it also overlays the sandstone onto the torches, which I don't need, so I'm just going to cut that out. There we go. And now, one there, final stretch, right over to here. And now, just do these by hand really fast. Okay, so now that's all overlaid. That's just enough to suffocate them, and the timing works out almost perfectly. Like, I don't know that it could be any shorter and still have time to pick up a villager. So, we're going to load up 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Awesome. And we're not going to let that zombie get to them. Good try. So now when we press any one of these, please tell me I hooked everything up right. Beautiful. He gets lined up. The other cart picks up a villager and deposits it. Now when you do it with a live villager instead of just an empty cart, the timing works out just right. You can see him going. Let's clear this. And picks up another one right there. Perfect. So, that is the villager rotator. And it's super awesome. Yep. I'm going to check episode length and see where we're at here. Alright, so just checked the episode length and we're actually like way over what I usually do for an episode. So, just going to give a brief rundown of how this all went. It's kind of a final little example here. So it went from this, which didn't really work, if I recall right. It kind of works. Not really. And then we had this, which is what I showed you guys at the beginning of the video, with ugly RS NOR latches underneath. Tried a Pez dispenser style. Tried this guy here, just trying to get them really close to each other. And I don't think this one really works either. I think it's busted. Then that was just testing how long it would take to kill them. Then we got this, and now we have our final renditions right over here. So quite a bit of work for one episode there. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching. Glad you could take the time to do that. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, video responses, etc. If you think you can do this better than me, let me know, because I'm always looking to improve my own designs. And since I haven't put this into my real world yet, you know, if you guys have any tips or something that might make it easier, I'd love to hear them. So as always, I'll see you guys next episode.